Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. This is the MLB DFS Core Pick video for Tuesday, June 3rd. If you're joining me for the very first time, first of all, welcome in. Second of all, this is how today's video will be structured. We'll be going over my core picks. It's going to be 5 players in total, 1 pitcher, 4 hitters. That's going to be based on a combination of past performance versus their respective opponent, as well as some recent history. After that, we'll get moved over to my cheat sheet and talk about my top GPP teams to stack for Tuesday's slate overall. In the morning, I'll be posting an early morning weather report that will have any game that does have a double-digit chance of rain or higher. And then throughout the afternoon and early evening, I'll be posting as many of these starting lineups as I can get to down in that comment section as well. So definitely be sure that you are checking up down there, especially as we do get closer to lock. But without further ado, we'll get right into it with the core picks for Tuesday's slate. So we're going to start off at that pitcher position. We're going to go all the way up to the top with Carlos Rodon of the New York Yankees. Some good options here at the top as well. So whether it's him, whether it is Christopher Sanchez pitching a day ahead of time due to Zach Wheeler going on paternity leave. So that could be a little bit of a risk there, but he's pitched really well against Toronto at the same time as well. Joe Ryan's up there. A lot of different options on the high end today, but I ultimately end up going up all the way to the top with Carlos Rodon as he's been pitching really well as of late. He's averaging almost 41 fantasy points per game on the season, $10,700. So we're definitely paying up a good amount for him. But he also has some good history versus Cleveland Guardians team. He had 55 points against them earlier this season, although he did not pitch against them in 2024. And then if we look further at what Carlos Rodon's done so far in the season, 7 wins, 2.6 ERA, once again averaging about 41 fantasy points at $10,700. Then we're going to move down to our hitters. We're going to start off with Ozzie Albies of the Atlanta Braves, $2,700. He's averaging just under 9 fantasy points per game. Obviously, it's been a slow start to the year for him, but he has been doing pretty well as of late. He has at least 1 hit in 15 out of his last 17 games. He was on a 14-game hitting streak until like a couple games ago. So definitely do like his upside just in general there. Goes against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Zach Gallen is the expected starting pitcher for them. 4 for 16 with 1 home run versus Zach Gallen in his career. So he does have some decent history there at that point. And, it's really just a value play at $2,700 though. He has 4 multi-hit games during that 17-game streak. 1 home run, only 3 double-digit performances, so that's probably like the one downside there. But he does have 10 games of 9 fantasy points or higher, so it does offer a relatively safe floor. So a guy that's probably going to get you at least 9 fantasy points, if he gets a steal or a home run, could definitely put you over the edge at the same time as well. If we look at what he's done on the season in totality, 235 average, 6 home runs, 22 RBIs, once again averaging just under 9 fantasy points per game at $2,700. Then we're going to move down to third base, his teammate in Austin Riley, $3,200, averaging just under 10.5 fantasy points per game. Goes against the Arizona Diamondbacks as well, so Zach Gallen still on the mound for them. 6 for 16 with 1 home run versus Zach Gallen in his career. He has at least 1 hit in 7 out of his last 8 games. 2 multi-hit games, 2 home runs during that time span, 3 double-digit performances, and 4 games of at least 9 fantasy points or higher. So a little bit more boomer bust with Austin Riley as of late, but definitely do like the upside that he can have on any given slate. And if we look at what he's done so far this season, 275 average, 10 home runs, 33 RBIs, once again averaging just under 10.5 fantasy points per game at $3,200. Then we're going to move down to shortstop in another cheap play with JP Crawford. He's $2,700, and he is currently averaging over 9 fantasy points per game. Goes against the Baltimore Orioles. Tomoyuki Sagano is going to be the expected starting pitcher for them. JP Crawford has never faced him in the past, so there is no history there at that. But he's been doing pretty well as of late. He's on a modest 3-game hitting streak, 3 multi-hit games during that time span, 1 home run, 2 double-digit performances, and then that 3rd game he did have 9 fantasy points in. So definitely do like the floor of JP Crawford in this matchup, as well as some potential upside at the same time as well. And he's got a 272 batting average, 5 home runs, 22 RBIs, once again averaging just over 9 fantasy points per game at $2,700. And then last but not least, we're going down to Lourdes Gurriel Jr. of the Arizona Diamondbacks, $2,900, averaging just over 9.5 fantasy points per game on the season. Goes against the Atlanta Braves and Spencer Strider. That name probably strikes a little bit of fear into you, but Spencer Strider has not been the Spencer Strider rolled so far this season. And Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is 1 for 3 versus Spencer Strider in his career. He is on an 8-game hitting streak as we do speak, 5 multi-hit games during that time span. 0 home runs though, so that's kind of the one downside there. The home runs just haven't been there, but he does have 4 double-digit performances. And then The other games, you're getting like 6 points, 3 points, so not quite as good in those games, but a little bit more hit or miss as of late, kind of like what we spoke of with Austin Riley. But Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has really been increasing that batting average overall as of late. And, if he gets a hold of one, can put it over the wall at the same time as well. 251 batting average, 8 home runs, 33 RBIs. Once again, averaging just over 9.5 fantasy points per game at $2,900. But with that being said, if you go with the 5 players that I do currently have listed here, you have $12,800 remaining, $3,200 remaining per player. That is a good amount remaining, especially considering the fact that we did pay out for Carlos Rodon. So there's some pretty good value options for these core picks just in general. Obviously, you don't have to play all 4 of these hitters together. Stacks will play a pretty big role, especially in GPP tournaments, once again, as always. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to my cheat sheet and talk about those top teams to stack just in general. So these are the 3 teams that I am targeting in terms of stacking for Tuesday's slate overall. We have the San Francisco Giants. They are going against the San Diego Padres. Berger is expected to get the start or be like the primary guy. But with that being said, it looks a lot like a bullpen game. So don't really have any of the Giants in the cheat sheet, but definitely feel free to target them as you do see fit. Should be a pretty productive game for them overall. Then we have the Minnesota Twins going against Jacob Lopez of the Athletics. The only guy that has a at-bat versus Jacob Lopez in the past is Harrison Bader, but he's just 1 at-bat. He went 0 for 1 in that, but definitely do like the upside of this Twins lineup in this matchup. And then last but not least, we have the Atlanta Braves going against Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen is typically a pitcher that we think of being pretty good, but he's struggled so far this season, and he's also struggled against the Atlanta Braves in the past. So definitely do like the upside of this Braves lineup once again. But with that being said, that's what I do have in terms of my core picks, as well as top GPP teams to stack for Tuesday, June 3rd. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. And then once again, I'll be posting my early morning weather report that will have any game that does have a double-digit chance of rain or higher. And then throughout the afternoon and early evening, I'll be posting as many of these starting lineups as I can get to down in that comment section as well. So definitely be sure that you are checking up on them, especially as we do get closer to lock. But with that being said, if you are joining me for the first time or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, we have MLB DFS in terms of the core picks, Monday through Friday. I will be having my first CFL DFS video of the season coming out this week, probably on Wednesday, so definitely on the lookout for that. I actually just posted on my CFL DFS sheet for week number 1. Obviously, there could be some changes with that as we do get some injury reports coming out, as we do get some depth charts coming out. So just be on the lookout for that, as well as that video just in general. And then last but not least, if you're interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting whatsoever, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS, Parlay Play, and Prize Picks. If you're a brand new user on any one of those 3 sites, when you sign up, make your initial deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's 100% match up to $100. And then for BetUS, it's 125% match up to $2,000. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. If you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comment section of this video or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport, and be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in MLB DFS for Tuesday, June 3rd.